Welcome to the PVN College Podcast, where our goal is to grow students in the love and knowledge of Jesus Christ. In today's episode, we're going to meet some new members of the PVN College family. Our guest today is Bryon Schirner and Haley Ewald. Haley, I usually do the intro thing here, but Haley, am I saying that right? Ewald, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you got it.
Amazing. I totally thought I butchered that. I butchered
great.
that. Well, perfect. Well, then we're just gonna press forward. Bryon, so Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Religion with a concentration in Biblical and Christian Studies at the almighty Berry College, right? Yeah. In May, Bryon will accept a full-time job at WinShape as an associate of first and second year students. He's also our newest intern in the youth and college ministry here at PVN. So Bryon, welcome to the podcast, bro.
Glad to be here.
Welcome to the team as well. Welcome to the team. Now, Haley is a junior at Berry College, majoring in psychology and family studies. So Haley, welcome again.
Thank you.
Now, is that a double major, or was that a major with an emphasis? What's going on there with psychology and family studies?
Really good question. Really good timing too. So I am a psychology major, and I've been a family studies minor. But at Berry, they don't have a family studies major. They actually took it away about 20 years ago. But I'm trying to pursue the individual design major in family studies and do both at the same time. So I'm in the middle of some paperwork for that right now, seeing if that can happen.
Design meaning like graphic design stuff?
It's actually, so it's like individual design. You make up the major yourself, and you pick the classes with your advisor that you would take for that major.
Oh,
like
cool.
a choose your own adventure book, except this time it's like a choose your own major.
I can't believe that's a thing. That's amazing.
It's really cool.
You kids get all the cool stuff. Unbelievable. Well, sweet. Do you know what you want to design individually? Like, what would you like? What is your ideal major? What are you going to do?
Yeah. So, just adding on more family studies classes, more psychology classes, because ultimately I want to go on to do social work.
Yeah.
And hopefully start a private Christian ministry for social work.
Too cool.
Yes. So I feel like having some more of the social psychology, family studies classes would be really useful for that.
You should definitely talk to Mary Margaret at Restoration Rome in terms of social work. We will talk about that offline.
Yes.
She was a guest a couple weeks ago on the podcast. So, all right. So first of all, listeners may be thinking like, all right, so Bryon's interning, but they're both on here. Are they both interning? What's going on? You guys actually have a deeper relationship than just two interns, if that's even possible. But you guys are engaged. Yeah. Congrats, by the way.
You gotta show them.
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah. There, look at that. Look at that internship salary. Just 3-month salary, baby.
Basically, that's how it works out.
That's awesome. So let me ask this, and I'm actually going to flip it around and go with Haley, if that's okay. But how did you guys meet? What's going on there? In high school, is that right?
Actually, the story starts before high school.
Oh my gosh.
We actually met when I was around pre-K-ish age.
What?
Yeah, so that would have been Bryon in elementary school, and so I've lived in Canton for basically my whole life, but Bryon's family moved to Canton from Florida.
Right, yes.
And so we actually went to the same church.
Of course.
Back in the good old days. And Bryon's little brother, one of his little brothers, is the same age as my little brother.
Yes.
And so they played soccer together. Our moms were room moms together, stuff like that. So we've actually kind of grown up together.
Wow.
And then we started dating in high school when I was a sophomore and Bryon was a senior.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Man, well told. And that's like verbatim what he told me 3 days ago. So that's fantastic. Now, now let's go. What is the kind of spark note it for us though, but what is the engagement story? How did you guys get engaged? What was the plan? Did it go according to plan?
Man, honestly, it was kind of like there was no plan, and then there was a plan, and then there was no plan, but then there became a plan.
Yeah, that never goes away, actually.
Right,
so
that's just kind of how life felt, man. Yeah. To be honest, if I'm just being completely real, I think for the longest time, I was kind of pushing off the thought of engagement and stuff and the idea of that because I personally was like, okay, well, right now, realistically, that can't happen because when you're in wind shape, you actually cannot be married and be in the program. You have to leave the program if you decide to get married.
Wow.
Yes, and so that was going to be a big decision for the both of us if that was going to happen. So we knew like that couldn't happen. We both didn't want a super long engagement because that's just really difficult, right?
I get it.
And I mean, we're going to be doing it for about a year and a half now, so we're feeling that,
Sure.
But yeah, we knew like that's part of the reason logically I was pushing it off. But I also felt like God was needed to do a lot more work in my heart personally, and there's a lot of things that I needed to address and a lot of things that I needed to work on, and in order to be ready for marriage, because that's a huge calling,
right?
And so Jesus really worked in my heart, and at first I thought, when I was getting to a better place, I was like, oh, Lord, am I ready? And is it going to be like ring by spring kind of thing? Is that what's going to happen? But I think God just led me to pop the question a little bit earlier, and after some work and tough conversations and all this build up, and the week before, was an interesting week for sure. But that November 13th, it's when it happened, and I asked the question, and man, I've.
Was it like on Barry's campus? Was it like, okay.
Yeah, so I proposed to her, November 13th. It was a Friday, and it was at Wind Shape Retreat. There's a tree
nice.
At the tree, there's like a bench, and we always go to that bench just to sit and talk and just chill and relax. And we were going there as if we were just going to like watch the sunset, but I took her like an hour earlier because I had one of my friends come in to take pictures and video it. Yeah. And so, that was really awesome to do. We just pulled up right there. I was giving her a story about like one of our first dates, and, I told her, if getting basically in this first date, we got lost together. I'm the worst. Yeah. This is what happens. But we got lost, and I was like, if getting lost with you means that I find, more of you, more of myself, and more of Jesus, I want that for the rest of my life. And then that's when I like went on one knee and asked the question. She laughed. She genuinely laughed because she was like, "This isn't happening. Is it really
reason.
What?" And then she started tearing up, and it was a really sweet moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, the reason I laughed was because Bryon thought that it was a game to get on one knee a lot, and so I'd always be like, "Oh my gosh, is this happening?"
Oh my gosh.
And then
Jim
he'd like
Halpert.
tie his shoe or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway. So I was like, haha, like, this isn't funny, stop.
Yeah.
And then he, like, actually had a ring, and I was like, oh, whoa.
Man, so when is the date? Or is it too far out in advance? Either way.
Yeah. Right now, it's probably like a year away in like June.
Cool.
So not this June, next June.
Yes. You should send out a save the date that says in like a year away in like June.
Basically.
That way they'll know. No, that's awesome.
We got time to.
Yeah. No worries. And you'll have plenty of time. And anyway, we'll chat about all that. But one of the reasons that I wanted to ask those questions is we just want to get to know you guys better. Like we just want to get to know you guys. And there's no deeper, more intimate way to get to know somebody than through rapid fire podcast questions. So that's what we're going to do.
Love it.
And this is like, I just love talking like pop culture, et cetera, but it's just going to be super fun. And I may call some audibles here, so just kind of be on your toes, but it's all going to be easy stuff, I think.
Let's go.
Or hard, depending on how much you love stuff. Bryon, what is your favorite movie?
I would say probably first one comes to my mind is Forrest Gump.
Oh,
you got all the good stuff up in there. So.
Forrest Gump is so good. Forrest Gump is the only movie. So I love movies. Forrest Gump is the only movie that when I watch it, I literally cry every single time.
Dude, me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm an avid crier. I like everything.
What scene? Forrest Gump's been out for like 30 years. So if you haven't seen it, that's on you. But so what?
Oh my gosh.
So for me, it's when he's writing the letter to her after she's passed away, after Jenny's passed away, before Haley Joel Osment gets off the bus, and they fish together, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I think I'm just going chronologically through the movie. First one on my head was when they were out in the field, in the beginning.
Where she throws the rocks at her dad's house? No, that's not the beginning.
That was, a little bit before that. So,
okay.
It was like young Forrest and Jenny out in the field, and Jenny's like, "Oh, I wish I could become a bird. I'd just fly away."
Oh,
and,
yeah. That gets you,
emotions,
huh?
yes.
Too funny. All right.
Man.
So Forrest Gump. Haley, I know this wasn't part of the thing, but favorite movie? You could pick more than one.
Yeah, also Forrest Gump, because Bryon and I actually started dating the same day that we watched Forrest Gump, because he had never seen it before, and I was like, this is the one movie I can watch over and over and never get tired of it. And so, we started watching it, and then when, we were crying together, laughing together, stuff like that. So, I love Forrest Gump.
That's awesome.
Great movie.
No shame in that. That's awesome. All right, so Forrest Gump, fantastic. Haley, back to you.
Yes.
Favorite TV show? Are you a TV watcher?
Kind of. I used to not be, but I have been more lately. Bryon and I have a TV show that we started watching over, quarantine-ish last March and everything. We would do virtual Netflix dates, and we love watching Criminal Minds together.
Yeah, man. We have some avid Criminal Minds fans in our congregation, so you will not be alone.
Yes.
You and your messed up friends will not be alone. It's a great show, and I feel like Criminal Minds is on CBS or something, right? Like a network that is not known for intense dramas, I feel like. You know what I mean? But Criminal Minds gets the job done. Bryon, is it also Criminal Minds for you? Kind of same question?
I mean, but also I've been getting into just pretty much everything Disney Plus now.
Oh, yes.
Dude, from The Mandalorian to WandaVision.
Of course. Winter Soldier coming out this weekend.
Yes, let's go.
Falcon Winter Soldier, yep.
This Friday, you know what I'll be doing.
Yes.
Up and early in the morning, dude, watching that.
Agreed, 100%. So, Haley, just a little bit back to you. So, you said you're not much of a TV watcher or have become more of one. So, all right, it's a Saturday, you've got free time. What do you do? Are you a reader? Are you a crafter? Are you an errand runner? What goes on there?
Yeah, I like doing a lot of different things. I really like hiking.
Nice.
I write poetry and stuff like that. And
she's kind of an artist. She's also she's being humble. She's a published author.
I was gonna say, all right, we're gonna have to pause for a minute because I saw on your Instagram there's a link to a book that you have on Amazon.
Yes,
that is awesome.
Yeah, so I actually, of course, you gotta say that. Oh my gosh,
it's on your Instagram. It was gonna come out eventually, and is it?
That's fair.
We can get into it deeper later, but just kind of surface level, real quick.
Yeah.
Is it a collection of poetry?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sick.
So I actually published it right before I graduated high school, and it's a collection of all my poetry from 9th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah.
And it's called Growing Pains, and it's divided up into seasons because I love Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, where it talks about the different seasons of life. I've always held on to that.
Yeah.
So the book is divided up into chapters that are seasons. So the seasons have themes in them, and that's the types of poems that are in those chapters.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Haley, I was gonna get cookout after this, but I'm full now. That was huge. That was awesome.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so slightly different, but just as important.
Yes.
Bryon, favorite Pixar movie? Because that's different. So favorite Pixar movie?
Yeah. I'm all for tearjerkers, right? That's my kind of movies. Ones that make you laugh and cry. I'd say Toy Story, all the Toy Story movies.
Okay.
They've definitely done that for me.
Yeah.
I've watched Soul recently.
On Disney Plus. Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. Man, that was bringing some tears out.
It is awesome.
And Up is a good one too.
Yeah.
Just the classic relationship between them two. What's the dog's name again?
Oh, come on, Bryon. Okay, so Up is Doug. First of all,
Doug, okay.
Up it's on my wall, dude, in my office. Up is my favorite Pixar movie, hands down. I remember seeing that movie in theaters, and it just floored me. It burned me to a crisp. It was so emotionally intense. I can't just recreationally watch that thing. That thing is a life lesson on a DVD. So the Toy Stories, always a good choice.
Right.
Haley, are you a Pixar fan?
Yeah, I was gonna say Up too because I love that movie.
You were.
There's just everything about it is amazing, I love. Bryon and I have a playlist on Spotify, and we have the music from the
the soundtrack.
Married Life.
Yes, that song.
So Michael Giacchino is that guy's name, and he is the GOAT. He is an incredible composer. It's phenomenal. Okay, let's get spiritual for a second. Haley, we're gonna start with you. Favorite pastors, preachers, Bible teachers? I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. So thoughts on that?
Bars.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Tim Mackey. He is.
I know the name.
Okay, so he works with the Bible Project a
Oh,
lot.
yeah,
those
yeah, that's
videos.
it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and so actually a few
Yes.
weeks ago, I was listening to one of his sermons just about community and living in biblical community, and it was so good. And I just love how he really gets into like the historical context of things and like translation of the original word and the text and stuff like that.
Awesome. Tim Mackey, the Bible Project. When my wife first became a Christian a few years ago, the Bible Project was such a good gateway for her. Like it didn't drown her in too much theology, but it wasn't so shallow that it doesn't really do anything, you know what I mean? And she really was able to. Fun fact, whenever you guys start looking for a house, the Bible Project has like a coffee table book that is just such a good like conversation starter kind of deal. So some thoughts. All right, so Tim Mackey, right? All right, Bryon, kind of the same thing, man. Favorite preachers, teachers, etc.?
Yeah, I think one thing Haley left out was definitely me.
That's right.
I'm playing.
Darn.
So I'm playing. I would say for me, John Piper.
Sure.
Definitely, that's numero uno.
Sure.
We got Craig Groeschel. Ready? This is gonna throw you off too, but like Levi Lesko.
Yes. Okay.
And so
you've looked into the eyes of a lion before. I take it. Very nice.
No, but for
it's
real,
a serious book though. Not
with
to
him. Like
not to
I
do that.
love one thing that inspired me. I saw him preach at a Passion, and
Yes,
that's what
I was there.
inspired me to like really try to give good like illusions and illustrations and like stories when I preach.
He's definitely an extremely gifted communicator.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. It's funny. We're actually doing a podcast. Shameless plug. We're doing a podcast on preachers and sneakers in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how we're going to do it. If we're going to do it by names, but Lesko is one of those that I would want to chat about some too. But like you said, he's been through so much, and what an incredible story with his daughter.
Yeah.
Piper, obviously, of course. Craig Groeschel, his leadership podcast is.
Yeah.
You guys both just gained so many brownie points with Bob Agan, our my boss, the associate pastor, because he is listening to the Bible Project like crazy right now, and Craig Groeschel's leadership podcast. If Craig Groeschel ever releases a workout plan, I will be first in line. That guy's like 55, and he is yoked out.
That's
of
another
control.
inspiration right
there.
there.
He is a
honestly.
walking inspiration.
But definitely John Piper though.
For sure.
We do love some John Piper.
For sure.
Theologically sound, love him.
Bryon, back to you, man. So favorite kind of Christian bands and songs kind of thing?
Yeah.
What's going on musically with you?
Yeah, I have to get a little bit more into some Christian music.
Sure.
I've been doing this weird thing lately where I'm getting into like different genres of music ever since I came to Rome.
Yeah.
And I'm coming out of the dark times of like country music, so just have some grace with me.
Sure.
Yeah.
It happens to us all.
It's tough. So yeah, for me, I would say I've always been a fan of Crowder. I love Crowder. I love Hillsong.
So true.
Definitely both of those. Maverick City's coming out with some nice sounding stuff and Elevation Worship. There's this one song I wanted to tell you about this because I shared it with Haley. But there's a band. It's called Judah. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Just Judah.
Judah.
Okay.
I think it's just
I
called
don't
Judah.
think so.
And there's a song called Just Because.
Cool.
And I just love like the vibe of the song. It's really good. But it's basically just about like that God loves us like just because. Like we don't have to like find some like logical explanation or like have to try to like reason or have all this theology. It's like, no, God just loves you just because he does.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's so
cool.
It means a lot.
Those are some good ones. Haley, kind of same question.
Yes. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the Sing Team before.
Oh yeah, Psalm
Okay.
42.
Yeah.
Or is it Psalm 51?
42.
Is it? Yeah. Phenomenal.
Oh, I cried at that one.
Phenomenal.
So good.
Yes.
And then also I have recently started listening to We the Kingdom.
Yeah.
They're kind of a newer band. They have a song called Holy Water, and it's like really good.
Oh yeah. Just a little song, just a little mom and pop that nobody knows about. Yeah, we sing that song at PVN like every 3 weeks. So yeah, so good.
And then I haven't listened to them lately, but I was just thinking, I used to listen to the Newsboys like all the time, especially like in 7th and 8th grade.
What a
like,
throwback.
What's it like being engaged to a 40-year-old? Is that cool? Is that weird? Is that
people say that like all the time? She's
That's
honestly
awesome.
an old soul, but like honestly,
That's
I am
awesome.
too with other kinds of music.
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
that's
No,
another
you'll
conversation.
fit in very well here. Yeah. The Newsboys. Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. All right. So as we get into kind of closing out here, just for a couple minutes, just a little bit here. So Bryon, you are interning with us. You've been with us for just over a week now. what kind of, and again, just kind of a spark note answer here, but what are you hoping to get out of interning here at PVN?
Yeah, man. Definitely a few things. First off, I just want to say, like, thank you for this opportunity, and, like, yeah, this has been a blessing and an honor to just step into.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'd say first thing was that, you know, I'd just be able to grow closer to God ultimately, and that our relationship would just grow out of this, and that I would also be able to grow closer to you and to the congregation, to students, college students, middle school students, high school students, and that, like, we'd be able to impact each other's lives, you know? And then I'd say, yeah, just that I'd be able to share the love of Jesus through, you know, all of my giftings, whatever that means for the church. And however I can do that, I'm open to whatever. And also that I'll just grow into the pastor that God is calling me to become, whenever and however that looks like. And I definitely know this is the place that's going to help me do that.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, we're glad to have you. Haley, kind of the same thing, just as, you know, as a future spouse, just kind of looking to the future here. What do you hope that Bryon gets out of this internship?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed, but Bryon gets very passionate when it comes to faith and helping others. So I think I'm just looking forward to seeing a church that's really going to embrace his passions and help him to develop them more, and also just a community where he can pour into others, but also be poured into himself.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this was awesome, man. We just learned. We're so excited to have you guys with us, to have you guys on the team, and more importantly, as part of our family. You know, jobs and internships may come and go, but church membership is just so vitally important, and growing in community is so huge. And so we're excited to have you on staff, but we're just as excited, if not more so, to have you guys in our family. So thank you guys for being with us today.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
For more information on this topic, message us on Instagram at PVN College. Listen to the PVN College podcast through Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Watch this podcast on Instagram TV at PVN College or on our YouTube page, Pleasant Valley North. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.